Hi everyone, and we've got a bit of a different video for you today, albeit a month late. This is me ranking everything I read in 2023 in a tier list. It was going to be a nightmare to get all of those books out, given that there are over 120 things to rank, so I finally figured out this way of doing it. So I'm using an iPad tier list app to do this, and because we've got over 120 things to rank, I reckon we're going to do this as a two-parter. So if this is part 1, it'll say in the title and the thumbnail, so look out for part 2 as well. With that out of the way, let's start ranking all this stuff. We're going alphabetical order by title. Before we get into the ranking, I'll just quickly go through the tiers. At the top we got God tier, so the best of the best, literature written by the gods. Basically nothing wrong with any of those. Next down we have Awesome tier, which, awesome, but still got maybe one or two things that didn't quite make it God tier. Third tier down is I liked it. So yeah, I liked it. It was fine. I can say that I liked it more than I disliked it, but it didn't really blow me away. Next we have You Did Your Job. Basically, this book did what it promised, but nothing more, nothing less. I can't really dislike it, but I don't really have any strong positive opinion on either. Next down is Yeah Nah, which is, the book was kind of iffy. Wasn't completely terrible, but maybe wasn't for me, wasn't my cup of tea. And then at the bottom is Why Do You Exist, which you can probably guess, just the book was completely terrible, nothing really redeemable about it, and just shouldn't exist, doesn't need to exist, or should have been rewritten. So, with that out of the way, the first book, The Absence of Sparrows, and this book has a really good premise, it was really fun. However, I can't quite put it in awesome tier because at the end of the book, it has this moral that I think is really bad and it doesn't even hold up in the story. Basically, it's a coming of age story, sort of post-apocalyptic sort of situation. And at the end, it's kind of resolved, everything's going back to normal, and the protagonist is kind of like, oh, I have to forgive my brother for all this stuff he did just because he's my family, he gets a free pass. And I don't think that's a good moral. That can be kind of dangerous, like forgiving problematic or even downright abusive behaviour. You have to do it just because they're family, So unfortunately, it has to go to just I liked it because I can't put it in awesome. It would go into awesome if it weren't for the bad moral. Next is Absolute Certainty, another fiction, which was a statistics book. It was pretty good. It was a nice refresher. I don't really have anything really mind-blowing to say about it, so you're also going in, I liked it. Alita Battle Angel movie novelization. I liked it. I understand the changes that were made to the original manga, but I found the book a bit slow. But other than that, I liked it. It was fun, but didn't quite blow me away, so again, I liked it. Amazing Algebra was not so amazing. It had a great premise, a great idea, but the execution just didn't work. It fell flat. You have to go in, and so we have Yeah Nah. You're going to Yeah Nah. It had this dialogue between two mathematicians, but they didn't really feel distinct. Amazing Ghosts and Ghouls. It is a collection of anecdotes about spooky stuff, but I don't really remember much, so you did your job. Nothing really more to say about that. Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. That was really fun. So you're going to awesome tier. I really liked it. I had fun with that. Next, Animal Farm graphic novel. It's a graphic novel adaptation of Orwell's Animal Farm. It was pretty good. So yeah, I think you can go to awesome as well. Arsenic for Tea. This is Murder Most Unladylike Book 2. I did initially struggle with it, but eventually it was pretty good. I liked that. So, you can go to awesome tier because you're green and have green sprayed edges and it's very green. Asian Ghost short stories. This was good. It was a short story collection, so mixed bag quality wise, but I actually don't remember disliking anything from it. I would have liked a bit more diversity in stories, but yeah, overall I liked it. Assassination Classroom volumes 8 through 11. You're always pretty good, so you can go into awesome tier. I don't know, I did this separately when I got some other mangas in here that I just kind of put all together into one entry. So you can all go into awesome tier. Atalanta and Jennifer Saint. I get why people find this iffy. I haven't read Ariadne, the first one that people compare it to, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely unique. I get why people complain about the mythological inaccuracy, but that doesn't bother me because that's kind of a thing with myth retellings. So you can go in awesome. Away with the Penguins. I love this. This was in my top 10 of 2023. So you are the first God tier. It was really wholesome. It was a really lovely story. It was funny. And Babel was my number one book for 2023. So you are going into God tier as well. Battle Angel Alita. I read the entire first series, so this is all in one entry. That was pretty awesome, but I can't quite put it into God tier because, for one thing, there's the series doesn't completely conclude there. There's a whole second series after that. And also some of the action was a little hard to follow sometimes. But Bizarre Dreams by Stephen King. Yeah, you did your job. Another short story collection, but nothing really blew me away there. I didn't really love anything in there, and the stories didn't quite go to the extremes that I expected them to. They just kind of fell short of where I thought they were going to go, or what they were going to do. Beano Annual 2010. Not much to say about that. It was fun, so I guess I liked it. Before the Coffee Gets Cold. So we've got books 1, 3, and 4. Number 2 is later. But yeah, I liked them. I think book 4, maybe recency bias, but I think book 4 was more emotional. But also they didn't blow me away as much as they did other people. A lot of them feel kind of samey. They're not the most memorable. So yeah, I think you're all going to have to go into. I liked it. Bioshock Rapture novel based on the backstory of the Bioshock video games. The Bioshock video games would go into God tier if they were in the ranking. The book was fun. I liked how it kind of merged the 1 and 2 lore, so it made it into one cohesive story. You're awesome. You're going to awesome tier. Biscuit Barrel by Jacqueline Wilson. Nah, I expected more. I mean, I guess it's a younger audience book, but I think even then it was just kind of meh. Wasn't as interesting. The characters weren't as interesting. Blue-Eyed Boy. Blah. Confusing mess. This is a side story in the Mulberry/St. Oswald series, but you really don't need to read it. It doesn't add any lore. It's confusing. It's messy. Apparently she didn't really go into it having a plan, and it shows. So yeah, you don't need to read that one. Bob the Builder and the Elves by Emily Rodder. That's cute and fun. The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman is book 3 in Thursday Murder Club series. It's definitely the weakest one. And I'm currently reading The Last Devil to Die, and I can only say it's weaker than that one. Like, I don't really remember, but I did like the character Victor, so he was neat. This one's going to, I liked it. The other two are going to awesome tier, I think. Wimpy Kid, Cabin Fever. That one, I liked it. Carrie by Stephen King. This is Stephen King's first novel, and yep, I definitely get why it is iconic. You're going to God tier. Congratulations. Chain of Thorns. Oh boy, this one was just frustrating to read. Like, I was in the middle and I was just feeling, when will this end? Like, I read the whole thing, but I was like, this is dragging out. This does not need to be dragged out as much as it is. Honestly, why do you exist? You need to be rewritten. I'm sorry. The Last Hours is definitely the weakest Shadowhunter series for me. But book 2 was pretty good. I liked book 2. But yeah, the third one was frustrating to read. The whole miscommunication thing dragged on. The ending was weird. And yeah, like, that just needed to be rewritten. Honestly, I wish Cordelia had ended up with Matthew. Like, if Matthew hadn't screwed things up in Paris at the start, she should have ended up with him. Coco novelization. This isn't the one that I always thought it was. There's a novelization of Coco that has adds more lore, but that's the one that's called Coco, a novel about family, music, and shoes or something. This one was just the novelization of the film. It didn't add anything, so yeah, nah. I mean, but that wasn't really the book's fault. That was me buying the wrong book. Quarter Rings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is Akatar book 3. Whoops. Akatar book 3. Yeah, you were awesome. I did struggle with it a little bit, but I think that was just me. I don't think that was the book's fault. I think I just needed to read something else. I wasn't in the headspace for it. Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, the Priory of the Orange Tree prequel. Another big book. I read quite a few really long books last year. I think I definitely like Priory better. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Didn't quite make awesome tier. Anthony Horowitz, Death and the Underworld. So a bunch of myths about death and the underworld. Most of them were Greek, which I went into it expecting a bit more diversity. Like, it was fine, but yeah, I wanted more diversity from it. I wanted to learn some more different cultures, myths about that. Death Note 13, How to Read, doesn't need to exist. Like, half of the book is just regurgitating a timeline of the original thing. The pilot chapter I already have in the Death Note Short Stories book, and the font is ridiculously tiny, has iffy contrast, and my copy fell apart, so yeah. Stephen King, Desperation. This was awesome. God tier. That was in my top 10. Yeah, just the atmosphere, the tension. It was great. Joanne Harris, Different Class. This is St. Oswald's book 2. This one was pretty good. Not as fun as Gentlemen and Players, which I read before, not last year. But it was still pretty good. You can go into awesome tier. M.A. Bennett Dogs, which is Stag's book 2. That was awesome. Wimpy Kid Double Down. I really don't remember anything that really happened in this one. So, look, I probably had fun reading it, but so you did your job, but I don't really remember much of it. Dracula, Bram Stoker. That one is pretty good. It's I can see why it's a classic, but it didn't really go as far as I expected it to again. But yeah, you're awesome because epistolaries are fun. but I did expect maybe a bit more from it, considering how much of a classic it is. Terry Pratchett, Eric, God tier. That was fun, and I like the mythology references in it. So there. Another Stephen King, Eyes of the Dragon. I took this book on holiday with me. So yeah, and I liked this one. It was pretty good. It was, a little predictable, but that's fine. Like, it's very different from everything else he's written. I like the illustration, so you can go into God tier. Family of Liars. This is the prequel to We Were Liars. And these were both pretty awesome. So, yeah. This one, you can't really see what it is, but it's Farewell of the Trumpets, which is book 3 in the Pax Britannica trilogy. And this trilogy was really great. It's historical non-fiction, going through the entirety of the British Empire. And I definitely learned a lot. And the way it was described just really had a way of evoking your emotions. So that whole trilogy is going into God tier. Justin Crone, The Ferryman. You're another top 10. You're going into God tier as well. That was really awesome, really unique book, really fun and interesting. The Fire Thief by Terry Deary. It was kind of weird, which I kind of expected going in. It was, fun and unique. So yeah, you can go into I liked it. Stephen King, 4 Past Midnight. You are going into God tier. You are awesome. So we have Foxes, which is Stag's book 3, and this is definitely the weakest one. Like, I liked it, but it did kind of drag, and yeah. It needed, like, the Guy Fawkes stuff was interesting, but I really don't remember much of the overall plot of it. It felt like more just a bridge to get you from book 2 to book 4. Gangster Granny by David Walliams. That was pretty good. It was fun. Yeah, you can go into awesome. The Getaway, Wimpy Kid. Yep, that one was good. I liked that. The Girl with All the Gifts just narrowly missed out on being in my top 10 of 2023. It was really great and unique and interesting take on like zombies and post-apocalyptic, and I liked the characters. I liked Melanie, so there. Gleitzman on Saturday, this one just kind of fell flat for me. The humour, again, didn't quite have as much oomph as I was expecting, so yeah. Greek Fire, that I really don't get that book. It was just, this guy went to Greece and then he just had to get out of Greece. I don't even remember why he was there. Like, he got there and then he was like, God, I have to get out. Like, I also went into it thinking it was going to be like more of a sci-fi book based on the cover and the sort of description on the back, but it was not. So yeah, just misled on what was expecting, and it just ended up being a pointless book. Groovy Greeks, Horrible Histories. Yeah, I liked it. Heartstopper, 2, 3, 4. You are amazing and adorable. Oh, and Volume 5 as well. You are all going into God tier. And the Yearbook, you are awesome. That's like a companion book, so yeah. Heaven's Command, Pax Britannica Book 1. I talked about that. That's in God tier. This is Heroes and Monsters. It's just retelling of some Greek myths. I did learn about how Polyphemus the Cyclops had a love interest called Galatea. I didn't know that before reading this book. But aside from that, nothing really special. And I think I remember reading it and thinking there were some inaccuracies in it. So I'm just going to say you did your job. Heroes of Legend, books 1 and 2. Yeah, I liked it. It was a bit strange. it used mythology, but then it was just like sort of our world, but also not our world, and it was a bit confusing and strange. But yeah, it was fun. Homestuck Act 5 physical release. Yep, that was awesome. The Honourable Thief. This is like an archaeological thriller. I think it did its job. That was again a bit strange. The characters were strange. I kind of like the more historical, like backstory part more than the present day actual plot part. Stephen King Insomnia. You were fun. I liked the plot. There was just some stuff that I didn't get because apparently it ties into the Dark Tower series and I haven't read that yet. That's why I'm currently reading the rest, like the Stephen King books that I haven't read. I'm reading them in publishing order now. Joy Street. This is like a group, like this is a real collection of letters between these two people during the Second World War. It was very strange though, like the way they kind of wrote and described this fictional street as like a metaphor, which is very strange, like even though these are real people. But yeah, I liked it. Just Wacky by Annie Griffiths. Maybe I'm just too old, but I can't really say anything more than I liked it. I get the stories just weren't as crazy as I remember them being, so who knows? And so I'm going to end part 1 here. We've got 62 books remaining, so we've gone through half of them. So this isn't a really long video. I'll finish part 1 now. I'll do the rest of the video in part 2. So if you like that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss part 2. And with that out of the way, thank you for watching. And as always, do lots of maths, read lots of books, and I'm sure you'll have a God-tier day.